Welcome to Your Inspired Journey. I'm Carla Andrews, and I have the wonderful pleasure of being here with Gillian Duncan. She is a fantastic editor, a podcast host, an author, and definitely a coach that you want to listen to. Gillian, I am so excited that you're here with us.
Thank you so much, Carla. I'm so excited to be here chatting with you today.
I am so excited because I know last time we mentioned about all the different possibilities of how we can cure or we can help alleviate the issues when it comes to insomnia. And I know we're going to talk about different topics, but that one really resonated with me because I know at one time that I had some trouble sleeping. And so I know there are others, especially those who are looking to build businesses. There are those who are worrying about things through the night. Anything that can help us get a better sleep is going to be helpful. So definitely, if you could share with us anything from just a little bit first about who you are, and then we can go into the topic.
Absolutely, Carla. I'm just so excited to be chatting with you today. So thank you so much for inviting me onto your podcast. Now,
Absolutely.
I've got a really sort of mixed background. So when I was younger, I studied biomedical sciences. So I went to university and studied biomedical sciences and specialized in neuroscience and psychology. And I went into a career in research for a while, and it just didn't seem it was for me. So I came out of it. I made that decision,
Mhm.
and I went into other careers. I had went into retail, I went into accountancy, I went into, at one point I owned my own store. Lots of different things went on. But the big thing that happened to me in my life, is I'm sure a lot of women will tell you, was having children. And that was a big wake up call for me. At that point, I had a retail store. I was just going through the 2008 recession, so it wasn't a great time. My little ones there was only 18 months between them, so back to back I had my babies. Both of them were premature, so huge time in my
Okay.
life to try and look after them. And I found that by the time my shop was only a few months old, my little baby was only just turning one, and I found myself not sleeping at all.
Hmm.
Really. I was perhaps getting between 3 and 4 hours of sleep each night. So my routine would be manic. I'd be up at the crack of dawn. I'd be getting the kids sorted and everything ready for the day, as mums do. I'd
Wow.
either have them, my husband look after them because he worked from home, or I'd have them at a nursery in the morning. I'd go off to work. I'd open my store. I'd run that. I'd come
Oh
home.
my goodness.
Be mom. I'd do the cooking.
Oh, no.
I
I'm
would then,
exhausted.
put them to bed. And then I'd work to the small hours on my business. And that lasted years. I don't know how I did
Wow.
it, but it lasted years. But then it got to a point where my health was starting to suffer.
Hmm.
And you can really appreciate that, because you just can't go like that forever and ever and ever and not for your health to
That's right.
suffer. And it really came to the surface when I was trying to lose weight. I tried everything. Okay, so I
Hmm.
tried diet. I'm not a dieter at all. So I even tried diets. I cut back all the unhealthy stuff that they say to do that. I exercised every day. I was drinking water by the gallons. I was doing absolutely everything. And I thought, why am I not losing weight? There must be something
Hmm.
really wrong with me if I'm not losing weight. And this went on for months and months, and I started to really study it and look at my life as a whole, because I love looking at things in a holistic manner. I don't believe that
Um,
there's only one thing that affects everything.
I call that from the eagle's eye. From the eagle's eye.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. So you take the outside look and come in to your own life, and I just saw that pattern of being crazy busy and
Hmm.
not taking time out and constantly worrying and not sleeping. And when I looked at my life and the pattern of my periods of insomnia, it went all the way back to when I was a teenager. And I could actually trace back times in my life where I was really quite unwell, to periods of times where I didn't give myself enough sleep. So I'd allowed myself to deprive myself of sleep. So I thought, this has to stop. Now, in this period of sleeplessness, it really started when my youngest was a baby, because I was getting up feeding in the night. He would fall asleep, I wouldn't. So I'd get up and work. And that pattern
Wow.
kept continuing for years. So I said, this has to stop. So I focused on getting a better sleep routine, really trying to work out how I can sleep all the way through the night. It didn't actually take me too long. And when I managed to do it, my weight started to come off. Honestly,
Wow.
it was just like a switch. All of a
And
sudden,
and
yeah, it just seemed to
and
back up.
let me ask you this. And I know there's many studies out there connecting sleep with weight, right?
Yeah, 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 absolutely. The thing I didn't know about sleep and weight is actually something that a lot of people don't know, is that when you deprive yourself of sleep, your body goes into a stress response. So it's a physiological
Hmm.
stress response. This is something that, you know, it's there to give you that warning signal, you know, that something's not right, and your body goes into sort of chaos mode. It's going, right, how am I going to save my body? How are you going to get yourself out of danger? How are you going to save this person? And
Hmm.
it does this automatically. So when you trigger that off, you've got no control over it. This is a response. You can't
Oh,
physically
wow.
touch it. It's just automated. And when you lose sleep every night, it triggers it. So this is not something that, you know, you can, you know, you can miss sleep for a few nights and you won't be stressed, you know, if, as long as you catch up with the weekend. Now that doesn't work. The minute you don't get enough sleep, your body feels it, and your body is telling
Mm.
you, hey, you need to stop and slow down and get some rest and get some sleep. And what people don't
And
realize is when this stress response gets triggered, you are denying yourself of the natural process that your body needs to go through every single day. And what, when you're sleeping, things like, well, I like to say it helps to renew and replenish and repair when you're sleeping. So your body is renewing chemicals, it's repairing tissue damage, and it's allowing your body to rest and get that, you know, even the muscle tension out. You know, it's helping your heart rest and your respiratory system rest, and helping your digestive system process all that food. But it also allows it to rebuild chemicals that are needed for digestion, and the chemical signals that go on in your body from your brain to your stomach and all the rest of it.
yeah,
And that
yeah.
connect, yeah, those chemicals are so needed to keep that communication open. So when you don't get enough sleep and your stress response kicks in, your body is basically telling your stomach that actually you need more food. It's telling the signal not to stop for like it's suppressing that signal of when you're normally full up and you don't want to eat anymore. But your body, when you're tired, it's saying, hey, you can keep eating. I'm not full up yet. You're still
Wow.
hungry. Keep eating, keep eating. So it's telling you that you're hungry. It's telling you that you need to eat. It's not giving you any signals to stop eating. And also there's a primitive area in your brain which gets triggered when you are tired. And this area is like a toddler, and it's going, feed me all the rubbish
The
you can
time.
get your hands on.
And
So you make really bad food choices. A combination of all these things going on. All of a sudden you're putting weight on, and you don't, even though you think that you're being healthy and you think that you're doing everything that you can, your body's overriding that. And it's not until you look at the nitty gritty of it all that you
yeah.
actually see that, you know, you are going down that path of putting weight on.
And you know, it's sometimes a person could feel, because I know I've had nights where you may feel like you're sleeping, but you're not really getting the good rest. And so you're up it's like it's almost like this half sleep, and you know it because when you get up in the morning, you're still tired.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you know, that goes into making sure that you get into this proper sleep cycle. So for a proper sleep cycle, you have, let's just say for sort of for ease for this one and breaking it down, there's 4 basic sleep phases in a cycle. And you know that first one when you're sort of nodding off and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm feeling tired, my eyes are starting to
Hmm.
sink. Well, that's the number one. That's the one that you should really be in your bed. And then the second one is you're getting deeper into sleep, and you know it's still easy for you to wake up at this point. You know, it's quite easy for somebody to, you know, or a noise or something to wake you up. It's a bit like having a quick
Mm-hmm.
nap, you know. Then you get into the deeper sleep, and that point your body sort of shuts down. It sort of really goes into that time where you become completely still, and that's a lot of the restorative processes happen right there and then. So you know, that's a phase where it's really hard to wake up from, because you know your eye movements stop and your breathing gets really shallow, your temperature drops, and everything all just seems to, it's almost as if you're not alive anymore. You're completely still, and nothing's happening. But that really is one of the most busiest points of your sleep for your body. And then we move on and we go into our rapid eye movement sleep, which most people know about. That's the dream phase, and that's when our mind starts to get activated again. Our eyes start to move, and we are, we're sometimes we move about, or we're sort of restless, or we're active in our
Mm-hmm.
dreams. Now, this cycle, this gets repeated between 3 and 5 times each night. And so we need to have those different cycles repeated. If we get interrupted, sometimes we have the first cycle and it's fine, but if we get interrupted after that, it's very hard for us to get a real proper good sleep, because the restorative processes and the repair work and everything else hasn't had the time to take place. And if we have to go between 3 and 5 cycles of these 4 phases, then that means that we need enough time to actually go to sleep at night. So we need to allow ourselves our 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night.
That's
It's
a
not,
start. Yeah.
we can't just go through all those, that thing and expect it all to happen in half an hour. It's not going to happen. And one other thing I'll say is, if you do feel that you're waking up, the chances are you've woken up at the end of your REM, your REM, or your dream cycle. Because what happens after you come out of your dream phase, this is when you'll remember dreams. If you have to go up to the toilet or something like that in the middle of the night, or you're thirsty, something wakes you up, and you get up and you go and do something, you still remember in your dreams. They're just right there in your mind. The problem is, when we go back to bed after that, is our mind sometimes gets activated, and it's very, very hard to get onto that next phase of sleep if we've had a break. So it's very important that we do look after that dream cycle really, really well. And just to go off in one thing that can interrupt your dream cycle is if anybody drinks alcohol. And alcohol, particularly in the evenings, it shortens that stage in your sleep cycle. So it's really not a good idea to drink alcohol to help improve sleep. And that's one of the reasons why, because it interrupts that cycle.